Africa is modeling its food system. Recognized as Person of the Year by Pulse Ghana and winner of the Queen's Young Leader Award, please put your hands together for Elijah Amu Ado.
It's the Food for All campaign, calling out to you out there who has something to share with a brother and a sister. I'm going to sing, and I'm here with Jose, with Food for All Ghana. Talking to everybody, stand up.
I will help to save a life. I'll not waste food anymore. I just need it to survive. It's the Food for All campaign. Let's join our hands to spread the word. Let's not waste food anymore. We can keep them in my life. Join the Food for All campaign. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. It's the Food for All campaign. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. It's the Food for All campaign. Let's do this around. For people with the food they short, we all consult so much. Off the pot, a lot. Food you bought with all you work for. In your lamp, or bread. The ones when you get the money, this is all strength. So we are strength. And then I'm strength. Hear me when I say, street kids they complain, no. One you me, and hear me, hey. Food for All campaign, Food for All I pray. So help me sing, I will help to save a life. I don't waste food anymore. I just need it to survive. It's the Food for All campaign. Let's join our hands to spread the word. Let's not waste food anymore. We can keep them in my life. Join the Food for All campaign. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. It's the Food for All campaign. Oh well. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. It's a Food for All campaign. Oh my food, I know that guy who have never tasted biscuit and bread. Food you close to tilapia head. Come, let's share. Hear me when I say, street kids they complain, no. One you me, and you me, hey. Food for all I pray, Food for All I pray. So help me sing, I will help to save a life. I'll not waste food anymore. I just need it to survive. It's the Food for All campaign. Let's join our hands to spread the word. Let's not waste food anymore. We can keep the dream alive. Join the Food for All campaign. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. It's the Food for All campaign. Everybody say, oh well. Everybody say, oh well. It's the Food for All campaign. Thank you. So, my name is Chef Elijah Amuado. Back home in Ghana, I'm called the doctor in the kitchen. And I was very happy that before we started all this, we were given the opportunity to eat. Please, can you bring the leftovers? Why am I called Doctor in the Kitchen? I'm going to be a little personal this evening to share my life experience to let you know the importance of food to life. we all value gold, right? Yeah. And we all value fuel, which is gasoline. I don't think anybody will go to the pump and then open the gasoline to flow on the floor. Why? Because it is the gasoline that makes our cars, it virtually makes anything that human has invented to move. Do we value food? That's the question we should be asking. Do we value food? Why do we eat? Is food a luxury, or is food the fuel for life? I come from a family of 4 children. I was the only boy, and I was the second born. I was so close to my mom, and my mom always kept telling me that one day you're going to look out for your sisters. I never knew what she meant. I was, when you are the only boy, you are the apple of your mom. She cherished you so much. When I was 12 years old, all of a sudden, just in a twinkle of an eye, I lost my mom. When my mom was alive, I always told her I would grow to become a medical doctor. And I was always working towards that. But at age 12, I lost my mom. Less than 6 months, I lost my dad. And I became an orphan. I was left in the care of my grandma, who by then was 66 years. And we are not a high-earning family. All that my mom and dad left us at their time of death was a wardrobe filled with clothing and a small business. They didn't leave us a house, a car, an investment, an account. So furthering my education to meet my childhood dream was very challenging. But as the only boy, I got to understand what my mom meant, that a time will come, you have to look out for your sisters. And that pushed me into, as at the time I was in junior high school, I was working as a cleaner in a restaurant. And that was the only way I could get the surplus from the restaurant. And then at the end of the month, I'll get salary to support my grandmom in taking care of my sisters and my education as well. It was challenging, but it was interesting. I really enjoyed doing it. I would work after school, 2 p.m. I would go and work till about 10, sometimes 11. On Sundays, I would work till about 1 a.m. So there was one Sunday that I was in a hurry to go home after, because the Monday as I have an exams. And what was fascinating was that there was this sauce that the head chef has prepared. I thought it was just anything there. I was in a hurry, so I was carrying the bowls to clean, and I drew this sauce. You know, when chefs get hungry, what they can do? It drew knives, plates, different things at me, and I started crying. Then I said, do you think if my mom was to be alive, I would be a cleaner in this restaurant when my colleagues are in school? This chef also started crying with me, not knowing he was once an orphan. So he became my closest friend. He became a mentor. He supported me, hoping his kitchen for me. And it got to a point where when he needs to prepare something, maybe he goes, Elijah, I want to prepare mayonnaise. And the next moment, I'll bring all the ingredients down. And that was how I was able to support myself through junior high school, secondary school, and that of my sisters. After school, I did science, and I thought I might still become a doctor. Possibly a miracle will happen. It didn't happen. The only miracle that happened was this chef, who has become my mentor, decided to support my vocational education. And so I became a chef. It was painful to me inwardly, but I knew cooking was another thing that I was passionate about. And so I still held on to it. What made me to be called the doctor in the kitchen was my colleagues who went ahead because their parents were fortunate enough, life was good to them at that time. They became doctors, and I would be in the kitchen and they would call me and say, oh, Chef Elijah, my friend, there's this patient of mine who is diabetic, and I want you to design a menu for him. I want you to design a menu for him. She's this, that. And for me, at that point, I realized I was a doctor in the kitchen. And I was so proud of my profession. I was making good money as at age 21 because as at age 12, I was already making money. So I thought maybe I would become the next Jimmy Oliver, the African Jimmy Oliver, or Gordon Ramsay. And I did enjoy my job so much because I was making money. I spent 17 hours, 18 hours in a restaurant, and at the end of the day, I do make a lot of money. I got married at 21 because I had money. Yes. I became an head chef of a busy expatriate restaurant in Accra known as Burger and Relish. And when I became the chef, usually because we serve an expatriate community, at the close of the day, all that is left, burger patties, bread, we throw it in a bin. Then once we throw it in the bin, there is this mentally challenged guy who would always come and pick, and then go to other restaurants, pick leftovers, and then he will go onto the street, feed his colleague mentally challenged, and then feed himself. He did it once, not twice. It was a daily routine for him. And back home, if you are mentally challenged, we basically presume your brains is not functioning. So one day I mustered courage and approached him. And I asked him, hey, why do you always come and pick leftovers from the trash bin to feed your colleague mentally challenged and on the streets? And his response to me was, if I don't do it, who will? If I don't do it, who will? And at that moment, it took me back. It made me start thinking of the community in which I have grown up, the challenges in which I have grown up, the over 90,000 street children on the streets of Accra who are out on the streets of Accra. Their future is wailing away, not because of anything, but because they don't have a regular means of nutrition. 90,000 children on the streets of Accra. Some are orphans, some have their mom or dad dying, and most of the times they come from orphanages. When you keep them in the orphanages, because orphanages depend on benevolent donations to feed these children. And it's not always that you get the benevolent donations. I've been telling Alex that Canadians are so good at heart. Every month you have in your budget to support an orphanage. It's not like that where I come from. We'd rather pay it to the pastor as a tithe. And so we pay that to the pastors, and the children in the orphanages have to run onto the street when they have shelter. When in the UN human rights, it talks about right to food, and we've always been told that to every right there is a responsibility. So if you have a right to food and I have a right to food and I can't afford it, it is your responsibility to ensure my right. So for me, I ask myself, this mentally challenged man says, if he doesn't do it, who will? It's going to take another 100 years. It's going to take another 200 years. Who knows? One day I might also die unprepared and leave my children in this world. Would they go through the same problems that I had to go through? Would they have to give up on their childhood dreams because of food? So I started what we know as Chefs for Change Foundation, and it was so good that I paired hotels and restaurants to vulnerable people. It ran so interestingly. I was so happy at how it was going, but I still had a family to take care of, so I had to still be working. And whilst working, sometimes I asked myself, the interest now I had to use in cooking for those who can afford to me died down. As the day goes by, I became more interested in feeding the vulnerable in society. And so it got to a point where I needed to decide whether I want to feed the vulnerable in society or feed the rich and those who can afford food. How did that decision have to be taken? President Obama had this young African leaders initiative. So in 2015, I was fortunate to be one of the few Africans to be selected. Young Africans who has ideas that can transform into organizations that will create social impact. And for me, when I was selected, I thought it was a very good opportunity to move away from the passion and then make it an organization. Because the problem of hunger, food waste, inefficiencies within the food supply chain is not limited to Ghana. It's all over the continent. When you hear of Africa in the Western world, what comes out is hunger. When you see a picture of Africa in the Western world, it is a child holding an empty bowl, so hungry. So for me, I thought for my generation, the rest of my life, what I need to do is to change that story. Because there comes a time in a generation where one group of people have to decide that, look, we want to sacrifice to make our world a better place. We want to change the status quo. And for me, that was the journey for me. And so when I was selected for the training program, my boss said, he can't let me go because I'm the head chef of this restaurant. And if I should go, he's going to lose money. But it became a very difficult decision for me to make. But at the end of the day, I was so fortunate to have a woman who believed in what the values I stand for. So she supported me and was like, go. Now you go and come back and you don't have a job and we are hungry. You can't be hungry when you've decided to feed the hungry in society. I'm going to make sure that you will never remain hungry. So I went. I was lucky enough to have the training. I knew what I lost before going into that training. And for me, that training was like university education. But the closest I've been to university education was vocational training. And so I gave him my all. And after the training, there was a competition where $10,000 was at stake. I was fortunate enough to write a very good proposal. And today, with that $10,000, since 2015, I operate what we call Food for All Africa program. What does Food for All Africa program seek to achieve? Food for All Africa program, first and foremost, operates West Africa's first food bank in Ghana. Our main objective is to create efficiency within our food supply chain. And by so doing, creating sustainable means of nutrition for vulnerable children, aged, mentally challenged. In Africa, FAO was saying in 2011 that we waste 60% of food goes waste along the production end of our supply chain. I can boldly say that in addition to that 60%, 45% of what we import, food that we import to supplement production in our food supply chain back home in Ghana actually goes waste. It goes waste not because there is no mouths to be fed.
It goes waste because the food system at that end of the supply chain is the reserve of those who can afford in society. So businesses plan the prices of food in such a way that at the end of the day, if you as a consumer who can afford, you buy, and there is any leftover, they will throw it away. When they throw it away, they don't lose. You are still paying for what they are throwing away. And for us, we believe that channeling this to support the vulnerable in society could make a lot of difference. And I can say proudly that yes, one step at a time, we are making a difference in the life of children, vulnerable communities, aged and mentally challenged in society. We are making a change where people need to see the right to food of the vulnerable in society as a shared responsibility. This could affect somebody back home. Earlier there was post that not every student on this campus is actually food secure. They might not have the $20 to be filling these checks. We shouldn't waste. For our generation, globally today, the UN Sustainable Goals 12 and 2, and even including one which talks about poverty, is all channeled towards ensuring that we have a sustainable world. Our fathers, our leaders today knows that they have failed our world. They know that if they don't do anything about the world in which we live today, years from now, it's not going to be easy for humans to live on this earth, because we might have wasted all the resources, we might have wasted the land where food comes from, and it will be a very huge catastrophe. And we should take note that from the walls of this school, most of us are going to be the very people that are going to take the reins of government, the reins of big corporations, to also prepare way for the next generation. Are we going to continue the failure, the virtues, the wrong virtues which our mothers and our forefathers have taught us, that wasting food is a luxury? These are questions we should be asking ourselves. Are we going to waste food when we know right in the corner there is someone who actually can't afford it? It is you and I, our responsibility to ensure that we create efficiency and ensure that the vulnerable in society actually gets regular means of nutrition. I believe we can do it, because once we do it, our children and our children's children are going to inherit a better world than what our leaders today are living for us. Let's think about it. Would any human being want to hurt his or a child? No. None of us would want to hurt our children by living a world that is so dangerous for them, a world where there are so many problems in society. No. Our fathers and mothers today know that what they will be living as is not the best. And so it is you and I, our responsibility to ensure that our actions lead towards change in our communities, in our societies, in our family. So let's all be consciously responsible towards not wasting food. As we always say in food for all is a shared social and moral responsibility. Thank you.